Okay, let's start. So, human beings, the most amazing, interesting, complicated, complex beings on the earth. We are us. We are. You are us. I am us. So, in general, as a people, we are awesome. We can consider ourselves as awesome because we are doing such a thing like flying through space, landing on the moon, diving into the sea, diving into the water, sailing through the sea from the ages. And we are doing all this stuff, and it won't be possible if we were not awesome. We create a lot of complicated, complex structures and networks, social connections. So it wouldn't be possible if we wouldn't be awesome. But why, so often, we consider ourselves, maybe not ourselves, but the others, as people who are not so awesome as they are. If you're an Agile coach or Scrum Master or whatever, and you're working with a team, if you're working with other person, you probably should have this mindset of people who are not so bad as most of the people think that they are bad. So I will share with you some assumption about the people, some general truths, which, in my opinion, from my experience, are very true. And I'm using it, I'm trying to use it all the time when I'm working with people. And I see a lot of benefits in it. So first of all, people always make the best choices. Now probably you're thinking that, what? What this guy already said. People always make the best choices. It's not true. In general, we are making the decision all the time. I would ask the question, when was the last time when you made a bad decision? Was it today? Who's made the bad decision today?
I am.
Okay. A few of you. Yesterday? In the last week?
I am.
How often are you making bad decision? Every day, every minute, every hour? How often do you make a good decision? Doesn't matter what the decision is. Which is more often? Good decision. So statistically, we are making good decision. Maybe not always, okay. I will try to do some experiments, some exercise with you. Let's try to recall in your mind the situation when the last time the person who probably you're working with, or maybe your partner, maybe your parent, maybe your kid or someone, make a bad decision, and you knew that it's a bad decision, and you try to convince this person that your opinion is better than her, and you try to convince this person to change the decision, and she didn't change it. So I give you 30 seconds on that. Let's try to think about all the details, all the information which you have, which the other person have, and on the context. Don't judge this decision from the time perspective, because probably now you know that the decision was wrong. So let's take 20 seconds. Let's think about all details. Okay, and right now, try to change a little bit perspective. Try to think about the information which you had at that time, making the decision, and try to think about the information which the other person had, or which this other person doesn't know. So, was there anything which you know at that moment, what the other person doesn't know, which makes your decision different than her? Was there something like this? Probably it was, because people tend to make the best decision, and we are making decision based on the information which we have, on the knowledge which we have. It don't have to be the information by itself, it could be some kind of experience. Everyone has some experiences. Everyone has made some decision before. So we are making decision based on our experience, and we are always right, because we cannot make any other decision because we don't have enough information to make different decision. So in general, we are rational. We are making rational decision. Of course, there are some exceptions, but in general, it works. So if you are making the best decision, there is no mistakes. because every mistake, we could consider something as a mistake only from the perspective of time. So if we look back into the past and then we see that, okay, this decision was wrong. But that moment in time, we didn't know it. We didn't know that this decision, we are making wrong decision. At that moment, we make the best decision which we could make, based on the information which we have. So there are no mistakes, there are only lessons. I think it's pretty obvious. But very often we forget about it and we're trying to blame other person and trying to judge others' decision. I would recommend you, instead of trying to convince others that you are right, try to think about the information which you have and the other person doesn't have. So maybe there is something which you know which could be helpful for the other person. I don't mean that you could convince other person, but if you will give her more information, probably she will make different decision. Maybe not the same as yours, but maybe different, maybe better. When you are getting angry on someone because he made some wrong decision, try to think about which information you don't have, which the other person probably have. What are the contexts of this decision? This is very important. People always have a good intention. There are no bad people. We are assuming that people in general are bad. We are assuming that people are trying to hurt us. We are afraid of it all the time. But to be honest, how many of you will ever try to hurt anyone intentionally? Is there anyone? Maybe you've been thinking about it, but how many of you already did it? So, okay, there are some sociopaths, hey, don't they? So, most of the people are not bad. So we don't want to hurt anyone, but we are feeling hurted by someone because other people may not know about that something is bad for us, that something is hurting us. So instead of being angry and being sad, when someone is hurting you, just try to tell this person that it's hurting me, that what you are doing is hurting me. And not only tell that she's hurting you, but also try to explain the context. What are the consequences of this person's behavior? Try to explain the consequences, context, and try to give her more information. Maybe you will find some compromise, and you will convince this person to change decision. If you're a manager or supervisor, or if you are working with people, you probably sometimes think that people are lazy. They are not doing their work as best as they can. But I would tell you that you always work the best that they can. I don't know, how many of you are lazy? How many of you are not working as best as you can? Okay, there are a few of you, so maybe it's not true. But I would say that the effectiveness of work depends on few factors. First of all, it depends on the knowledge. If you are struggling with the effectiveness of your employees, try to ask yourself a question. Do they know what is the goal of what we are doing? Do they know the context? Do they know why I'm requiring something? It's always better for them to know the consequences consequences of not doing something or doing something bad. Try to ask the question, do they have all the skills which are needed to do the work well? Are they well trained? Or they have time for training? This is something which most of the organizations which I know forget, that, okay, we require people to learn, but they don't have time for learning. They don't have slack time. Motivation and environment. Do you create an environment of motivation? Do you create an environment for experimenting, for learning? This is very important, and we very often forget it. If you cover this topic and you're still struggling with effectiveness of the work of your employees, try to ask yourself, did you ask for the things which you really want? Because people are always doing that what you are asked for. So this is the best example for this problem are the KPIs. We are using KPIs to put a goal for a team, for team members, for developers, for employees, and then the employees get this KPIs for 100%, And we still don't see any progress. And we still don't see that effectiveness of work improved. So try to be clear and try to give them knowledge about what you are expecting, because you will always get what you want. This, if you are empowering people in some direction, they will do this. If the salary of the people depends on some metrics or something like this, they will try to fulfill only this metric. So, in terms of learning, we are work in progress all the time. Some people believe that people are not changing. They are not changing their behavior, they are not changing their characters, etc. It's not true. People are changing all the time. We are changing all the time. I will ask you the question, I know maybe today it will be easy because there was a lot inspiring talks. Probably you learn a lot, you change your mind all the time, you change your behavior maybe. But let's say about yesterday. Did you met yesterday someone, I don't know, maybe on the street, passing just over the street, and you notice that, I don't know, this person looks good. I don't know, she has nice hairdressing, or she's wearing something nice, or this person is behaving in some way, and you think that, well, it may be not so bad to copy this behavior, or copy something from this person. Maybe you don't know this person, but we are learning all the time by such a thing. We are passing people on the street and we are looking, okay, so, it looks nice, I would buy this, you know, trousers or whatever. And we are changing our behavior, changing our mind, changing our vision all the time. It means that we are all the teachers. Teaching, it's not the process of, you know, training and speaking to people at the conferences. People are copying behaviors, copying your ideas, your mindset all the time. So please be very careful, because being a teacher is a huge responsibility, and everyone is a teacher. And everything what happens has some meaning. This is, I don't mean that there is some great power somewhere which design our whole life, their destiny, etc. I'm talking about the things which happen in our life, our experiences. And I'm not talking only about the work. So you can work on your experiences and on the experiences of others, but mostly on yours, and you can manage them. For example, try to think about your free time, how you are spending your free time, and what are you doing. And because we are the sum of our expectations, of our experiences. So everything what we are doing, everything what we are experiencing, it's create our personality. So try to manage it, try to think about it, and do not do this randomly. Last but not least, change is inevitable. We have to change. This is probably why the Agile became so popular, Agile Lean methods, because everything is changing. In the last decade, everything changing even faster than it was before. 20 years ago, there wasn't internet. Could you imagine? There wasn't internet 20 years ago. And right now, we are on the Agile conference. What freak was Agile 25 years ago or so? So change is inevitable, and change is not mandatory. I think it was Edward Deming who said that change is not mandatory, but survival is optional. And I will leave you with this sentence on the end. And I hope that you will just want to think about you, about your mindset, and how could you change your mindset to help others, especially as Agile coaches. Thank you.